Okay, so this is my checklist. So for today I think I'm just going to really quickly make it so when you press enter it'll be like you press the play button in the menu, and also probably revamp the enemy AI because it's really bad. So anyways, I'm just going to so this is what we have last time. So anyways, to map the enter button to the play button, we need to, in the menu screen, check if the enter button is pressed. So if keys index enter, then we do and we call this start function. So that should actually be enough. And it is. So that's good. Anyways, also something seems to be strange with the mouse presses, I've noticed. Not really sure what's wrong. They seem to be kinda unresponsive. It's kinda weird. Anyways, I guess we should start with updating the enemy AI. So first of all, we have to make sure it will only do stuff if it will only react to the player if it can see the player on their own radar. So I think we would need an update function. I think we can get rid of this, actually. Not sure what that's doing there. And also, I can copy this. And stick it in the update function. And then I can call the update function. Where should I do that? Probably here. Yes, this .update. So anyways, this should do exactly the same thing. Except I actually have to add some enemies. Just temporarily. So I'm just going to do radar objects dot push new enemy. Looks like there's some sort of never mind. The thing was being strange. So anyways, I mean the code editor was being strange. So I'll just stick that at 500, 500, and what is the R? Okay, R is the rotation. I'll just set that to 0. So yeah, you can see it there. So that's very good. So then, we don't want it to update every frame, but only when it receives radar data. So, let me just remove this. And then it will take an input, radar data. So then we would have to have it ask for radar data first. So I'm just going to copy this from the missile code. And stick it here. And then for the radar objects, we would we would want it to display the player. We want it to display everything. And then for this, we'd only want it to return the area around the player. So for this, we'll do player.x minus 5, and then player.y minus 5. And then for the width, we would want 10 and 10. And then for the rotation, we'd want the angle between the enemy and the player. So we would want player dot y minus this dot y and player dot x minus this dot x. Then it is giving the ID. I think we need to call this get radar value instead of update. Because yeah, this would be calling get radar value when it receives radar data. So then we would need to check if it can see the player. So we can have a max value. We'll set that to 0. And then we'll loop through the radar data, and then radar data. Okay, we have to say let I equals radar data dot length minus 1, which will create a So this will set it to the maximum value, and then I is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, and I minus minus. So this will loop through radar data backwards. So then we would say if radar data, so if the radar data, piece of radar data we're looking at is greater than the max value, then we'll set the max value to radar data. So then we would say if the max is high enough, then we'll say it can see the player. So if max is greater than or equal to maybe 0.05, then it will do the AI we stick in there, because we know it can see the player. And then we would need to ask for the radar data again. Except it would be good to have it wait before doing that. So we'll just have a set timeout. Then we'll have it ask for the radar after 100 milliseconds, or 0.1 seconds. And it's broken. Can't access radar 2 before initialization. Okay. This is pretty easy to fix. We need to stick this after this. Okay. And it's going crazy. Okay. So what is the issue? So this should be radar data index I index 0 for the actual radar data is. Anyways, that didn't fix it, which isn't surprising. So I'm guessing that these are backwards. So I'd have to do this dot y minus player dot y, and this dot x minus player dot x. Okay, still broken. What's the issue? Let's have it console.log the max. Oh, and also, I forgot to switch it down here. So this dot y minus player dot y, and this dot x minus player.x. Okay, so it is logging absolutely nothing. So that's not good. So when we get radar information, I think it would be good to log the ID. So let's do console.log message.id. Wait, no, that would be it. Message.data index 7. And it didn't log anything. That's not good. Oh, this is if it is drawn, so I mean if it's in the game, then it'll start logging stuff. I mean start sending radar data back. So I think what I have to do is have this so it spawns when it starts. So here. Okay, there are a lot of them. So something is messed up here. So why are there so many? Okay, it looks like there's only one this time. So it looks like it's saying that the max is 0. Which would explain why it's not doing the AI. So let's console.log radar data. It's an empty array, okay. Maybe if I make the rectangle bigger? I'm gonna have it stop logging the IDs so it doesn't clutter up the console. The array is still completely empty. So I think I might have had these the right way before. Okay, let's try this. Okay, it's definitely returning some radar data, so that's good. However, it's still not doing anything. So let's have it start returning the max again. Okay, the max is an array, so this has to be radar data index I index 0. Oh, and it's doing something now, so that's good. Okay, so now I actually have to make an AI. So how should it work? So I think we can have it so it will shoot at the player. So if it's pointing at the player. So if this dot r equals this number, I think I can set this as a variable. So I can remove this. We'll call it that for player rotation. And then I'll have this be player rotation, and if this is approximately equal to player rotation. However, this wouldn't work because we would want it to start shooting within some sort of margin of error. So and this should be player R. So I guess I can say if that minus some small value is wait, that wouldn't work either. Actually, it would more or less work. So I guess if the rotation minus some small value is greater than, I think. Wait, no. Is less than the player R, and the rotation plus some small value is greater than player R, then we can have it shoot a bullet. So we can do radar objects dot push, and then I can copy this from the player code. Actually, no, I can't. I believe I have to copy it from here. Wait, no. From here. Then I can have it push a bullet. Then this should be this dot x, this dot y, and this dot r, and the player should not be able to see it. Actually, for testing, the player should be able to see it. Okay, he's not shooting. Maybe this number is too low. And he's still not shooting. Wait a minute. I think it did start shooting. Just adjusting some numbers. Wait a minute. That needs to be greater than. And it's still not shooting. Oh, it's shooting now. Okay, this can be player R now. Maybe I should do the modulus on this. Okay, that works. However, it seems to be shooting like a lot. And also the particles are coming out of the what's it called? The player. How did I forget that? So this would need to be this dot x and this dot y and this dot r, and also only if it is player visible. And also, what seemed to happen is the enemy was shooting, but it was shooting at the center of the enemy, which meant the collision detection on the bullet detected it was hitting something, namely the enemy that was shooting. So it was really shooting itself. So that is something we don't want. Also, since the issue has been fixed, I think this number can be smaller. So let's just give this an offset of the cosine of this dot r. Then let's multiply that by some arbitrary value. How's the collision detection? How does the collision detection work, real quick? it's less than this number. So I'm just going to multiply it by this number. And then same for this. So math.sine of the rotation times this value. So now it would still probably shoot itself, because it's still on the very edge. So you should probably add 1 to this, just in case. There we go. It's now able to shoot at the player, so that's good. Okay, something got messed up there. Okay, it looks like it's not doing collision detection with the player. So let's fix that real quick. Then we'll just have two tests be radar objects dot concatenate the player. So then that will include the player with the radar objects when doing collision detection. So now it should do collision detection with the player, which means we are now taking damage, as you can see, when we get shot. So now we're being shot at again. And they have successfully managed to kill us, mostly because we didn't do anything. So I feel like it definitely needs to not shoot quite as much. So how can I do that? I guess an easy way would make it not update as much. So yeah, that's probably more reasonable. So yeah, this AI is already far more interesting, since it can technically put up a fight. So I think it would also be good if it had some sort of like missile shooting mode. So this dot shoot missiles equals false, and then this should also test if it is not shooting missiles. And then after it shoots like 10 bullets or something, probably some other number. So we can do this. Should probably stick this here. So this dot bullets shot equals 0. And we can say that when it shoots a bullet, we increment that by 1. So this dot bullet shot plus plus, that will increment it by 1. And then if this dot bullet shot equals 20, then we'll switch to, then we'll say that shoot missiles equals true. So then the AI will start shooting missiles, and then reset this dot bullets shot. So then after shooting 20 bullets, it should stop. And then fire a missile at us. Except I haven't programmed that in yet. So now I have to make it shoot a missile. So I can say else if this dot shoot missiles, then I'll set a, actually, I can just do this in here. So I can do set timeout, and then have it push a missile. So I can copy this from the player code again. Wait, no. I'd have to copy it from here. So I'll just copy this, and then in the enemy code, I'll just stick this here. Then this has to be this dot x, this dot y, and the target should be the player dot x and the player dot y. And then this would have to be false, since the player wouldn't be able to see it. And actually we should make this value, this one, true just for testing, so you can see that it's working. So yeah, you can see that we got a missile shot at us. So that is very good. And I guess also didn't aim very well, but whatever. So I need to set a time for the timeout. So let's have it wait 2 seconds before firing, from stopping shooting to firing the missile. Very good. So now, instead of having it go in a random direction, we can have this go in a direction opposite to the player. So the player rotation plus math.pi. So that will rotate it 180 degrees. Okay, this will be pretty tricky. So I should probably... So I have chaff for a reason, and it is to prevent that from happening. So I should probably set the chaff timer to something large, and same with the missile timer. So I'll be able to dispense chaff or launch a missile straight from the start. So I guess now I'll be able to find whether chaff is an effective counter. So I've just dispensed chaff, and it seems to have completely not gone for it, which is not good. It also still didn't give me chaff straight from the beginning. So I'm just going to change that real quick. Also, I should probably refresh on what the chaff key is. Okay, it's E. Okay, so I can't use chaff at all, even though I've set this to a big number. So, hold on. I'm just gonna try that again. Yeah. That's weird. Okay, so I think I need to actually set this to a low number. Okay, there we go. So now once it stops shooting, I would know to dispense chaff. And it has definitely gone for the chaff. So that is a success. Then I can shoot a missile back. So that's good. I feel like the missiles might do a bit too much damage to the player. So I'm just going to reduce the power by half. And then now I would require 10 missile shots to get rid of the airbase. So I'd have to reduce the health of it. So yeah, it did a far more reasonable amount of damage. So now, I can do since I know it's working, maybe a second, I need to, okay, here it is. So I need to set it so you can't see the missiles, and so you can't see the bullets. Oh yeah, they're the bullets. Okay, so you couldn't see the missile at all, even from close range. So that's a problem. So this is the missile code. So this needs to be, or the distance between this dot x and this dot y. So the position of the missile and the position of the player. So if that distance is less than, what did I say for the bullets? Is less than this number. Then it will draw anyways. So yeah, that seemed to, hold on, I wasn't looking all that closely. Oh my goodness, why are there so many of them? Well, I guess they all shot each other, so. Oh yeah, there we go. So anyways, I'd have to have it start shooting again once it shoots a missile. So this dot shoot missiles equals false, and then this dot bullet shot will reset to 0. Actually, I should have it wait a while to do this. So I'll have it set a timeout. And I'll stick this in there. Then I'll have it wait 2 seconds. Okay. So it seemed to stop shooting for a while, which is pretty weird. Yeah, stop there. Why did it stop? I'm already resetting that. Okay, so I think I have a problem with my enter thing. I think it's calling the start function multiple times, which is not good. So I should probably remove that and say that else if the key is enter, then it will start, but only if it is in the menu mode. Hold on. Yeah, menu screen is a thing that exists. Okay. So if it's both on the menu screen and the key is an enter, then it will do the start function. Okay. Okay, never mind, it's not working. Hold on, what's menu? So, this doesn't exist. I'm not sure why it's there. Although I guess it would be convenient if it did exist, but... Might as well make it exist. Okay. So then I can say, and menu. So menu will turn off immediately when you press the button, but menu screen will turn off when the menu should disappear. So I guess that's the difference. Okay, so how many are there this time? Okay, there's still a lot. So that's not good. Why are there so many? So I think there is only one there, except for some reason it's shooting a lot of bullets. I mean, a lot of missiles. I think this has to be this dot bullet shot equals 0. That's probably what broke it. I forgot to switch to the code. It's not good. But I mean, I didn't change much, so it should be fine. Okay, much better. Okay, so now it's working properly. So that's very good. My goodness, I've already been going for an hour. I haven't even implemented them doing chaff yet. I guess I'll have to do that. Guess I'll have to do that now. How should I do that? So I'll have to give these things a chaff cooldown. So this dot chaff time equals a large negative number. So then I'd have to loop through the missiles. So I do for let I equals radar objects dot length minus 1, and I is greater than or equal to 0, and I plus plus. No, that would be I minus minus, because this is a backwards loop. And then it would be good to say that this is a missile. So this dot is missile equals true. So then I can say if radar objects index I dot is missile, and then and radar objects index I dot player visible equals, actually we don't have to say equals true. So if it is player visible, that means it was shot by the player. I'm assuming it won't mistake any enemy missiles for player shot missiles. And also the distance between this dot x, this dot y, and the missile dot x. Actually, I'd have to do I'd have to check if it can see it. Then do I'd have to ask for some radar data. And this has to be math.atan2 to get the angle to the missile. And then this should be radar objects index I dot x minus this dot y, and also this should be y. Then I would have to do this for the x position. So that dot x and dot y. No, x. Again, I'm misspeaking badly today. Then this would have to be a box around the radar object. So there we go. And then we should also check if the position is close to the player. So let position, then let's just say 0, 0. And then the maximum position. So pos would equal radar data index I index 1 and radar data index I index 2. So then we can say if the so if the distance between the pos index 0 and pos index 1 and the player, so if that is less than, say, 30, then we'll do all of this. And also, we should stick this in there too. And also stick this in there. So then if it's close to the player, we can assume that we're asking for radar data from the player. Actually, you probably can't assume that. I guess we can give this an optional name. So then I'd have to pass it the name. So the name would probably be message.dataindex8. Okay, so now I can pass it in a name. So let's do get radar value and ask for a name, and then we'll say if the name does not equal missile, then we do all of the player stuff. But if it does equal missile, then we can test if the chaff timer is available. So can do this dot chaff time. Oh no, I forgot to switch to the code. That's not good. So I guess I can copy this from the player. So let's just copy this. So we'll have the same chaff timer as the player. So let's just delete this. Then we can say this dot chaff time equals performance dot now, and then we need to actually dispense chaff. So I can again copy this from the player. So now it should dispense chaff when it detects a missile. Okay, the missile is completely gone. What happened to the enemy thing? Okay, I think it bugged out. So let's do radar. Let's look at the radar objects, and there are none of them. Okay. That's not good. Let's have it console.log chaff. And it didn't do it. Okay. Okay, so it's definitely asking for the missile radar. So I should probably have here this dot to ask radar equals true. So then I'll only do this if it wants to ask for radar. So now it should only console.log once. Wait a minute, I removed the console.log. Okay, that's not good. I forgot to set to ask radar to false. So I'll just say, this dot to ask radar equals false. Then I'll also add a condition here that this dot to ask radar has to be true, otherwise it will stop. Okay, so it only asked once, which is good. I'll have it console.log chaff again when it dispenses chaff. And it never did it. Okay, so let's have it log something when when it receives radar data back. Okay, so it never did. So that's not good. Anyways, I think I'm going to save that for next time, since I'm kinda hot and also need to use the bathroom, so. And also we've been going for a while, so